I don't know what episode this is. I don't really care anymore. um, Today I want to talk. I forgot my Bible. Today I want to talk about a prophet that God had sent to Jeroboam to basically rebuke him and then leave. He was to go to the land, give him the rebuke, and then come back, and he was to not eat or drink anywhere in the land. So, gosh, my breath. If he were to eat with them, it basically was condoning Jeroboam's actions in the land where they were worshiping, I think it's pronounced Ashertoth, poles and golden calves and all this stuff. And he had to make a public separation, like I'm not going to associate with that type of behavior. And as he's leaving, he was told to go a different way than he came. He comes upon an old prophet. An old prophet came up to him and tells him to come back to his house and, eat with me, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I'm strictly not allowed to eat in this land. The Lord told me I cannot eat here. And he said, well, I'm a prophet too. And I think it's actually right here. Yeah, but the old prophet answered, I'm a prophet too, just as you are. An angel gave me this command from the Lord. Bring him home with you so he can have something to eat and drink. But the old man was lying to him. One thing that is interesting off the bat before I read the line that said he was lying to him, I was like, why would God tell him to do one thing but then contradict himself and send an angel to tell him, oh no, actually come eat over here? No, that's it. Off the bat I was like, something is so off here. But then I read the next line and said he was lying. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And off the bat, that illustration teaches you that no matter what God says, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. His word is always final. And I remember I had a word from God and he told me to leave a certain place at a certain time. And I was like, okay, all right. And it was like marked down, and it was like for a couple months, I was like, all right, I'm leaving at this time, and I was set on it. But then I had a dream, and it felt like it wasn't like just a dumb dream. Like it was basically, the dream was saying, leave now. And I was like, what? That is so, that contradicts what God said. I'm not saying all dreams are from God, but it felt like it wasn't just a funny dream. It felt like it was almost like a spiritual dream. Like, leave now. I thought you wanted me to leave at this time. So that whole morning, thankfully it was a Sunday, and I went to church, and I was like just so distraught. I was like, do I pack up and leave right now, or do I stay here? And so I was at the altar before service started, and I was praying. I was like, God, I don't get it. You told me for this time, and now you're telling me something else. Do I leave? Like, is that you telling me to leave? Was that dream for you? So I'm praying, and instantly to my memory, the verse was brought to me that I am not an author of confusion. And I was like, oh, dang. And then right after that, like back to back, I was reminded of this person who had prophesied to me at the time to leave. And I felt peace in my spirit about that. And so I was reminded of that situation. I was like, okay, yep. No, this dream was nothing. It was totally against what God had originally told. And honestly, the time that I did end up leaving, which was the time that God told me to, was in perfect timing. So I knew that dream was a farce. So any voice, whether it be a dream or somebody who you hold into high regard that you might think would know what God's will is, you should probably consult with God first before you make any drastic decisions. So anyways, God's word is final. You should not alter it, water it down, contradict it. And if you are confused or have a question about it, I would definitely bring it to prayer. To me, it was pretty cool that within that same morning, within like the same couple hours. I was praying about it, and bam, God spoke to me like, nope, that is not the way. I was like, oh man, that was quick. That was a quick turnaround today. I mean, I've been praying prayers for like 20 years. I'm still haven't had an answer, but this is like 20 minutes. So I thought that was super cool. But if you're unsure, I would talk to your pastor. So the prophet ends up going to eat with the old prophet at his house. And in 1 Kings 13, verse 18, but the old prophet answered, I'm a prophet too, just as you are. And an angel gave me this command from the Lord, bring him home with me so you can have something to eat and drink. But the old man was lying to him. So they went back together, and the man of God ate and drank at the prophet's home. Then while they were sitting at the table, this is interesting. Then while they're sitting at the table, a command from the Lord came to the prophet. He cried out to the man of God from Judah. This is the guy that was disobeying God's orders. This is what the Lord says. You have defied the word of the Lord and have disobeyed the command the Lord your God gave you. You came back to this place and ate and drank where he told you not to eat or drink. Because of this, your body will not be buried in the grave of your ancestors. Before I move on, by him not being buried in the grave of his ancestors, it was a dishonor in Israelite culture, and it symbolized like a lot of shame, and now your lineage and your line is not being continued. It's like it's a loss of legacy or something like that. And the part that really stuck out to me is the next verse. Right after he gave that whole thing, like, you disobeyed the Lord, you will not be buried where your family's buried. And then it says, after the man of God had finished eating and drinking. What? I was like, is there a verse missing? Because if I was sitting at a table and I had just disobeyed what I felt like the Lord said, and then a prophet literally like spoke from the Lord saying, you have disobeyed, blah, 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 I would lose my appetite. I would not finish eating. I would not continue anything. I would drop on the floor and start repenting and like freaking out. And I'd be like, Lord, forgive me. But no, he continued to eat, which I thought was so interesting that he did that. And then it says, after he finished eating and drinking, the old prophet saddled his own donkey for him, and the man of God started off again. I was, what? So to me, I was trying to figure out, why would he continue eating? And as I was praying, reading, and trying to figure it out, once he made one bad decision and he compromised in an area that he thought, which in a sense I feel like he might have been manipulated, he was lied to, but ultimately he should have listened to the voice of God. Had he listened to the voice of God, he would have not fallen into this disobedience. And because he let his guard down there, his discernment was dulled to other things. So when it came to, a time when he should be repenting, he was just kept eating. One decision leading to another. It is a cheesy example. I've been trying to eat a lot healthier, but I've been eating healthy. Well, the other day I was passing by Dunkin' Donuts, and I love Dunkin' Donuts, and I was like, what's wrong with a iced latte and a donut? And I got 2 donuts. And then so I went and I got it that morning. Rest of the day, ate garbage. It totally threw me off track just by that one decision in the morning. And another example that I bring up a lot is when I used to go on fast, if I set like a 3-day or a 2-day or 1 day, whatever it is, there's no questions about it. It would be completed. I would have no problems. I would do it. Like, I'd have no issue my whole life. It wasn't until I think junior or senior year of Bible college where I had heard stories where people were like, yeah, I tried to finish my 3-day and I just couldn't. I had to go get McDonald's or something like that. And I was like, wait, what? You break your fast before the appointed time that you set? I thought it was like the gravest sin in the world. And I was like, what in the world? And then I started hearing so many people were doing it. I'm like, that is horrible. And then I heard a preacher, He's preaching. I was listening to this sermon, and he had mentioned that he had done it too, and I'm like, what is going on? And so, junior senior year, I think I was doing a fast with somebody, and they wanted to just quit it. They're like, let's just do it another time. We'll do it like next week or something. And I was like, oh, I mean, as long as we're doing it next week, right? And like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And so we went to McDonald's, and ever since that time, it has been 100 times harder for me to complete a fast. Ever since that one decision, it has made it my, I guess the word is, it has made my, I don't want to say senses, but like, I guess my reverence, which is so horrible to say, but, or my, I don't know, respect or something like that. Because now it is so difficult for me to finish a fast if I set one. I have to, I break it all the time. It's really hard. So when I do complete one, it's quite the victory. But back to this story, him breaking that one thing when he thought, oh, this is a voice of God. Let me trust this because this person's a prophet. They should be trusted. And I'll go do what they say. Disregard what literally God said. And it got him, well, I'm not going to spoil it. Let me read it. And in verse 24 it says, and the man of God started off again, but as he was traveling along, a lion came out and killed him. His body lay there on the road with the donkey and the lion standing beside it. People who passed by saw the body lying in the road and the lion standing beside it. And they went and reported it in Bethel, where the old prophet lived. When the prophet heard the report, he said, it is the man of God who disobeyed the Lord's command. The Lord has fulfilled his word by causing the lion to attack and kill him. Then the prophet said to his son, saddle a donkey for me. So they saddled a donkey. And the crazy thing is that the donkey was not eaten by the lion, and the man was not eaten by the lion. And they were both just standing there, the donkey and the lion. The lion never ate the man, which tells you that it was sent by, literally says, the donkey and the lion were still standing there beside it, for the lion had not eaten the body nor attacked the donkey. That shows you right there, the donkey, not the donkey, the lion was sent strictly by God to kill him, not to eat him. So you can't say, oh, well, it's just coincidence. I mean, he just came out of the forest and ate him to death. No, God literally sent him to kill him, and that's it. And the lion stood there. Compromise leads to giving up and staying in that sin. Once you make a bad decision through your disobedience, you decide, you let down your guard, and you're like, oh, no, that wasn't so bad. I can do that. I remember years ago, my youth pastor, Brother Guttridge, he had these cones. He had two cones. And he had caution tape on each of them between the two. 1, 2, 3. And there were different barriers. And the first barrier was like, oh, I mean, like, he was talking about relationship, but he's like, we're just holding hands. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. What's wrong with that? Cut that caution tape. Go to the next section. We're just making out. I mean, what's wrong with that? How am I going to know if I like her or not? Cut that one. Then the last one's like, I'm not going to get explicit, but we're just doing this and this. Oh, okay. Well, all the way pregnant. And it just shows like one bad decision leads to another. And the fact that this guy did not get up from eating after he was already in disobedience, he's like, and just accepted his fate, is crazy. I hope I never get to the point where I lose conviction in my sin. If I am in sin and I don't feel bad about it anymore, or I don't feel convicted on the things that I've done, that is a scary place to be when you no longer feel convicted. That's God finally saying, giving up and like putting, you know what? I'm leaving you to your sin. I'm trying to help you. But if you just keep pushing, he'll finally let go. And that is a scary place to be, that in such a quick time, he's just, he didn't seem to care. So even if you think it's small, this small little thing, oh, it's not that big of a sin. It's just a little bit of a disobedience. It will lead to a greater thing. Always stay on guard and keep your mind vigilant against all these little tactics that may form themselves into thinking, oh, but this is from this person. For example, I'm trying not to be specific. I went to this place for something. I'll just say that. I went to this place for something, and I walked in there, and I felt so off. I was like, something does not feel right about this place. And I literally felt like God just wanted me to get up and leave. I'm like, I don't think I can do business here. And I was like, something feels weird. And I was like, but there's no way. There can't be anything wrong with this place, because somebody that I know is like a man of God, like a straight up prophet. I was like, but he goes here. So I'm off. That's not the Lord. So I ignored what I was feeling, and I ignored what I felt like God was telling me. And I did business with this place. Long story short, I found out that it ended up really messing up things. And I was like, wow, I should have listened to that small voice. I should have listened to God above looking at somebody who I regard and other people regard as a basic prophet to justify my decision. And if I would have listened to the voice of God, I wouldn't have paid those consequences. So the moral of this story that at least I get personally from this is always first listen to the voice of God. If you are confused about it and somebody comes up and, well, I have a voice from the Lord and I say this, I would pray about it. If you are still confused, I would talk to your pastor about it before you make a decision. Don't make a decision on a whim. Don't pray about it. Go with that person or listen to that advice and then find out later, I messed up. Yeah, and that's all I got.